Potter! Welcome on in. Dude, let's just go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. Bit of a tough day today. Started off great, then things were close, and now unfortunately we're here. What's up?
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was just such a blowout. That is not the standard that we set for ourselves. So it's definitely disappointing. But when it's such a blowout like that, it's even tough to analyze a game like that, right? Because a lot of the protocols, a lot of the things that you practice kind of just get thrown out the window, and you really get bullied around. So we weren't able to stabilize at all. And it clearly showed. I Good news is though, like you just said, map one, we did put a lot of focus onto Lotus over the last week, so it's good to see that at least we were able to play to our standards on map one. At least there's that. So
Mhm.
hope it's not all lost.
By the way, one thing I was curious about too is that you're one of the few coaches that I see that takes both timeouts in the first half. Why is that?
It's definitely not by choice. It's not a
Naturally.
strategy that I have. It's definitely trust that at least in the second half, at least if we have of somewhat of breathing room going to the second half, I know we're gonna have a shot, right? So
Mhm.
it just depends. It depends on how the guys are communicating and what kind of plans they're talking about, and if they're talking enough about it. Things like this. So since I can hear their comms, and I know what's normally and what's not normally, I'll determine what's most important from there.
Hey, I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm just some guy, so
But
I'm
trust
watching
me,
out of you
I don't
outside.
want both timeouts. I do not want to be using both timeouts in the first half.
Aside from that, of course, there is one thing that I was talking to Jaw about as well, and let me know if you feel the same. He said that he's still coming in this year playing like he's got a chip on his shoulder. Do you feel the exact same way?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, chip on shoulder for sure. It's a good opportunity, right? It's a good opportunity to be able to put to the test all of our learnings from last year. It was a huge growth year for all of us, right? So we were excited. Both Jaw and I were really excited for what for being in the situation we were in. Listen, we were making the best out of the situation. It's not like we were both like, yeah, this is first choice. We want to be put into a crumbling roster and a
Yeah.
crumbling org. That was not our choice, right? But looking at it, we were kind of like, this is the situation, the reality of the situation. We might as well have fun with it and look at the exciting aspects of it and look at the exciting parts of it. And, that is the chip on the shoulder part of it. Jaw last year, he didn't get to play the whole year as duelist, and he and I had conversations about the grand finals and thought, hey, maybe if he was on duelist all throughout all 5 maps, he would be in the conversations for MVP as a duelist, but he was in that split role with controller, things like that. So, yeah, we were both really excited, and we still are. Jaw is a special player, and he's still got so much potential that he has left to show. He's an exciting player that's always surprising all of us.
Mhm.
So that's my job this year, is to try to make sure he's able to showcase everything he's got.
Which naturally, of course, I can imagine you were like, yeah, EG's the one for me. This is it, guys. We're doing great. To move on to you a little bit though, what I want to say, do you find you still have the same ego when you're coaching that you did when you were a player? Because I know when you were playing, you were out here rocking the servers, thinking nobody ain't shit right now.
That's a good question. No, no, you cannot have the same ego as when you're playing as when you're coaching. Because when you're playing, you have it all. You get it all. You have it all. So, as they
Mhm.
should, absolutely. So, no, when you're a coach, you definitely can't have that ego.
I
I
mean,
wish.
it's all good. It's. I mean, I find you can have a little bit of ego because I found last year was fun where you transformed, sentiment to excitement to y'all want to talk shit on my name, then let's hear it. Then that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's all, for the brand. It's putting on a show as well a little
Mhm,
bit. But
mhm.
yeah, maybe we our focus right now is winning a little bit more before we think about we think about those kinds of things. So once we stabilize ourselves a little bit, and we are comfortable with our own identities a little bit more, I think we can start having a lot more fun with with our brands and with the community, and with things like this, but we have been hunkered down. We've been heads down and just really focused on trying to find our groove.
You're called mother lovingly in Brazil. Who started that, bro? Because I can't imagine
I
it's you.
I have no idea. I have no idea. And low key, well, I mean, not low key. I mean, it's obvious. I am getting much older as a human, so I'm self-conscious about that. Or I was. And so I didn't want to be called mom, obviously. But I love it now. It's the reality of the situation. I've been in esports and I've grown to really a different person now as an adult as I was as a little kid, just enjoying being a part of the community. So it's really cool to kind of see all that I've seen and also see what I'm seeing now. And yeah, apparently I'm May. Apparently I'm mother on the Twitter community. And, it's all good. I'll take it. I'll take it.
You mentioned a bit from like growing up with it, like way back when you were playing too, and I know you said before about how you watched your brother play as a kid. How did you convince your mom to let you play, or were you just sneaking around playing from her?
I was definitely sneaking around playing from her.
Uh,
There was a lot of bartering back then, and
mhm.
that just didn't work. It's such an American concept, and like for a first generation Korean American, my mom was just like, there's no way she's having any of that. It's their way or the highway. So it was a lot of growing pains of learning how to navigate that mom parent relationship, and that's tough. Even now I get asked for youngins, and especially when I'm conversing with parents, I'm just like, man, yeah, being able to prioritize is definitely key, because I was so obsessed. I was so obsessed, and it's not healthy to be that obsessed, but that did lead me to where I am now, right? So it's tough, but definitely prioritizing and having a clear plan is ideal.
Yeah, as a first generation Indian Canadian, I understand being from an Eastern household. Well, when I told my mom, like after I did my master's, like, hey, I want to go into esports, she was like, you want to do what the fuck now? You want? Yes. Yeah, it's a struggle. I understand, but
Yep.
but
Yep.
once you kind of prove that it's okay, I can make money off this, then they're like, all right, maybe it's not too bad. Yeah. And considering through what your time of competing, you hold such a deep affinity for 1.6, no matter through no any other game. Why, bro?
That is the game that I had the most late night hours into, right? Like with no other carrot on a stick besides my own joy. Like there was no team that I was trying to get on. There was no um, higher competition that I was trying to strive for. At that time, it was just pubs. It was Scouts Knives. It was CS Assault. It was Italy. It was FY Snow Ice. So it no other reason but just for the game itself. So those memories are something that I just it's so nostalgic, and it's kind of, it's why I'm still here today for sure, in being as obsessed as I am. So that's why. But also it was the first game that I figured out, I guess maybe that I was good, and that I felt like that for myself as well. Like, damn, that's where I got my ego, was in that game for the first time. Like, I'm the shit, feeling like I'm gonna fuck anyone up that comes across. Like that kind of feeling that you get as a gamer, like, and it baits you so hard, but that's why you game, right? It's you feel like you're the shit, and you feel like you will own everyone. So that was the game. 1.6 did that for me.
I love that when you smile, you talk about it. It still proves that you were like, no, no, no. It's still there in you. Just resting, hiding. Yeah, a little bit. Potter, dude, let's get it. Yo, another dub, another week, another smile on your face. Look at you feeling yourself. What's up?
That was very up and down, a roller coaster of a series, but man, it was fun. It was really fun.
Before we get into the game today, I just want to go ahead and go and wipe the slate real quick. Y'all played Sen last week as if you were playing against Furia. Jesus Christ. What the fuck happened?
Before that game, in the features in the interview, they were asking me, what do you see? How can you beat Sentinels? What do you see? And the answer is the same. It's that, versus the best of the best and versus teams and players who are more structured and who will play to the optimal scenario each time, you can predict a lot of different scenarios, and they become readable. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Simple and to the point sometimes is the best solution. So, but they are readable. And so for us, instead of constantly running into versus, for instance, a crew who has Kesnet, who will just take every duel that he wants to take, you have breathing room when you're playing versus the Sentinels. You can assume that, hey, this fool's not going to peek me randomly right here because he'd just be throwing the round if he did, And so there's a little bit of more opportunity to read the rounds because they've been slowed down. And so I think being able to experience that on the stage for us as a new team versus the best, versus that North Star team in Sentinels, it was incredible. And we were able to dissect the rounds together, problem solve together, and get that experience together. And so it was insane.
I do want to go back to the last conversation real quick though. Was, you were talking about, you mentioned how, like, after a game like that, you always had to go back and review and just look back on what even like went wrong, or to understand that. What were the outcomes of that conversation after the crew game? Like, what were the overall conclusions?
We just made more protocols. We made a lot more protocols. I'll tell you one of them. Well, actually, never mind. I'm not going to tell you our protocols, but we made more protocols, because having like cue words and having words that just indicate to you that, hey, we're going to do this now. Having something like that was important for us. And because, again, we had so many 5v3s. We had so many 5v3s, so many 4v2s, so many random rounds where we definitely got everything we wanted. So just making additional protocols and just, again, rewatching that and understanding we have all the advantages. We don't really need to make the move. The onus is on them.
Mhm.
So again, just being on that same page like that again and just understanding our win conditions was really important.
Was one of the protocols about how you guys commit to the Omen ult when they're all nightfalled? And like, just that play when they're by a mound, by C, that shit was genius.
That was insane.
And that one way is not finding value, but they're going to Nightfall instead.
Nightfall, since flying here with a Paranoia and a nade, it's all being exchanged and lobbed on our even sides. Jorgamo just satches up to the high ground position, and the smoke won't save you! Superman, did he just stick the TB behind them?
He did, because they were on Nightfall. There was no audio cue. Superman, that's nothing personnel, kid.
I mean, that is just insanity.
See, and that's the beauty of Valorant and my systems, and because all of EG last year as well, and plays like that you just watched on Lotus, those were on the fly. A lot of our best plays and a lot of our best executes that you've seen were cooked up on the fly. That's kind of like the best sweet spot that you can get to, is if you can default. Anyways, but that is kind of that play was on the fly. Fought just said, fuck it, I'm going in. I know they're all tagged, and he stuck it. And yeah, I think if Jaw didn't get that kill, even on the, who was it, the Raze that was in front of him,
Yeah.
Fought would have gotten that double kill as well. He only got the one kill, but for sure he would have gotten 2 or 3 kills there. So that was insane. That was an insane audible coming through from the boys. And yeah, that's kind of the beauty of the systems, that you can make audibles just like that once the info comes through.
So then the question everybody has for you is, are you real, bro? Because you take these names, like the people nobody has in a conversation. You combine these 5 ragtag bunch of hooligans together, and suddenly we're here right now.
I will say that a coach can only do so much. And I have to say this while my stocks are high. A coach can only do so much. And sure, I do, ever since EG started, from last year's champions winning roster to this one here, I do, I am in charge of the pistols, the anti-ecos, like the first 6 rounds for sure. And those scripted rounds are something that I control, but a coach can only do so much. And that is factual. Like, these players are talented. They are the ones that are making my words even better. There's there's so many variables in this game that there's no fucking way I'm gonna catch all of them, or I'm not gonna cover everything, right? So it's definitely not up to me. I definitely just put out, you know, small little carrots, and they've gotta follow it. They've got to be the ones to. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm so tired, but you get what my point. Coaches definitely, you know, they definitely have impact, but they're not players, you know.
Yeah, they're not. I'm just hung up on this carrot shit you're talking about. Just
I don't know.
I'm curious to know, it's like your interactions now, right? That you have with people you may meet along the streets, with fans, and with people who've seen you from before. How do you find they've evolved since from coaching even last year to this year, or even back when you were playing on CLG?
I would have people that were excited to see me be like, "Oh, it's Potter. It's that tall motherfucker," you know, or you know, whatever it is, and they'll remember me and they'll be excited. But now it seems like maybe because I'm just older and I appreciate it more. I'm not sure what it is, but it feels like people are super just that excitement level. It's more, I don't know if it's more genuine or more like it's just a special time. Esports is insane right now. I mean, just the meet and greet just now, there was somebody who brought like a book that they made with every picture that they had with their esports stars that they looked up to in this book. It's just it's incredible.
Other things that I found out while I was digging into you as well too. Are you still leaving pillows at your hotel when you travel, or do you not bring them anymore with you?
I well, now on Amazon there's so many travel like little knickknacks that you can buy. So I have like 4 different kinds of travel pillows now, so I don't need to actually take the full-on pillow. I have one that you can blow up and it turns into this full-on room that you put on your tray table and you can put your head in, and then it turns into like a little cave for you to sleep and lean onto. I mean, there's some crazy things out there.
I'm glad this is what you're investing your time into, just to figure out how to sleep more efficiently. You know what? Shout out to you.
Of course. Dude, when you're my size, when you're getting on an airplane, you figure it out before you get on that airplane. How am I gonna sleep? How am I gonna figure this out as a giant human?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you tell me you're not flying first class. That's crazy. What?
I'm not falling like that, man.
Tragic. I mean, couldn't be me, but that's fair. And final question is, I'd also noticed that you've been on your fishing arc as well too, bro. What's like the biggest thing you caught recently, or the most interesting thing?
Recently, I haven't gone fishing.
Obviously.
No, obviously. But before I left Texas, before the season started, I really got into striper fishing. I don't know if you know what that is.
Hell no.
But okay, well, they're these giant fish.
Okay.
And they are saltwater fish, but they breed them and they stock them in freshwater lakes all across the country. And because it's such a strong fighting fish, so it's called a striper.
Okay, a striper.
And it's called a striper. And there's this lake called Lake Texoma in Texas. It's very famous for striper fishing. And I live about an hour away from there. So what I was doing for about an entire month and a half prior to coming here, every morning from like 5 a.m. till 1 p.m. before practice starts, I would be out there fishing nonstop. So striper fishing, that's what I love.
All right, you know what? Well, I'm glad that you have your solace in your release. 5 a.m. is a crazy time to be alive and awake, but
they're not gamer hours. They are not gamer hours.
No, they're not. Could not be me. I went to bed at 5 a.m. last night. So shout out to you, of course. And that is all the time I naturally always have. Today seems like I never have enough. Potter, thank you again for joining me. An honor and a pleasure as always. I can't wait to see more.
Cool. Thank you.